you get to the Giants. Ray Handley's your coach, right? Sims and Hostetler are in the locker room.
Correct.
Were you welcomed? I mean, how were you welcomed?
Yeah, it was interesting because Kent Graham was there as well, and I sort of felt like Sims and Hostetler at the time were going through a little bit of an issue because Ray Handley had promised Hostetler a starting job in preseason, and then Hostetler got nicked up during preseason, and Phil actually played very well, so Phil was named the starter on opening day, and I mean the quarterback room sort of blew up at that time. Hostetler left. Phil was upset that Hostetler left, so then he left, and it's Kent Graham and I'd been there for 3 days, and Jim Fossil was our quarterback coach, and he said, listen, I don't know what's going to happen here, but one of you guys might be the starting quarterback this week. I was like, well, I know it's not going to be me. These guys don't even know who I am, let alone I don't know any of the plays.
Right.
But then they sort of came back, and Phil was a starter, and the year was just, Phil got hurt against the LA Raiders out here. Hostetler got hurt. Kent Graham and I then played against the Cowboys.
Well, hold on a second.
On Thanksgiving Day.
Okay, so your first game in the NFL, we just walked through how you were born into the NFL.
Yeah.
You were baptized in the NFL. How?
Blitz under fire by the Dallas Cowboys.
On Thanksgiving Day?
I mean, that was, when you think about the Cowboys team
in Texas
that day.
Stadium.
In Texas Stadium.
With the triplets.
Triplets, but the defense at the time was
Haley.
And they had everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole
they
mix.
had 8 defensive linemen. They would just roll, and they were unstoppable.
Were you ready?
No. No way I was ready. No. I mean, because I got there late in training camp, I didn't have the OTAs.
Right.
I didn't have training camp. And by the time the season starts, the third string quarterback's getting 0 reps. So for me, it was just, I had to kind of learn on the side. And I remember going to Jim Fossil's house for dinner some nights and sort of learning the playbook with him. And so by the time I got to week 10 or whatever it was, I kind of knew what I was doing, but not to any level be successful.
What was the final score that day on Thanksgiving Day?
30-3.
Yeah. I think we scored on an opening drive too.
Oh, you were up 3-0?
Yeah, it was 3-0.
It's all downhill from there, Dave.
Right.
Well, actually, it was 9-3. They opened with 3 field goals. Matt Barr hit a 42-yarder before the half.
There you go. So
Okay.
going in the locker
Feeling
room,
good.
you and
Little
Ray
momentum.
Handley and
9-3
everything.
at the
Right.
half.
Feeling good. We're high-fiving each other.
Okay, so then how did you get the starting job there, essentially?
Yeah, so then the next year, Phil was the starting quarterback. We had Dan Reeves as our coach, and
Right.
I was the backup. Phil played great. We made the playoffs. He sort of injured himself in the last playoff game against the 49ers. We got blown out. I think Ricky Waters had 5 touchdowns in the game. And then the offseason came. So I'm in year 3 now of my career. Again, a first-round draft pick, the pressure is sort of on to, a move's got to be
Big
made here.
time.
So
I mean,
Phil's 38 years old.
Right.
He had a great season, but he had an injured shoulder. And it was either May or June, and I got a phone call from the PR person at the Giants that said, listen, Phil Simms has just been released. His press conference is at 3, and yours is at 4. And talk about I'm 23 years old at the time. Like, okay, it's time to go. And I drove in there. And it was Phil and I were very good friends, and it was pretty amazing that the way it worked out, I was walking in the building, he was walking out, and, New York media, there was 100 people in there, cameras everywhere. I was sort of hoping I wouldn't see him, but I'm glad it actually happened this way. He was walking out, and I passed him, and he just leaned over my ear and whispered, so are you a little bit nervous now? And then he just walked out. And it was such a great passing of the torch at the time, and it was very funny.
Man,
That's amazing.
So how did you handle it? I mean, because again, we're now beginning to broach, Dave Brown here on the Rich Eisen Show, we're now beginning to broach what Daniel Jones might be experiencing here. So how did you handle all of a sudden 100 cameras in your face saying it's now time for you to win football games because you're a first-round choice out of Duke, replacing a Super Bowl champion, albeit not released, but benched.
Yep.
Well, how did you handle
So I still
that?
had to compete. Kent Graham was still there. We had a few other guys that were there. And Dan Reeves was the coach. And it was, it was kind of all focus was on that. I had to prove myself. And certainly being a first-round draft pick, you sort of get the benefit of the doubt. But I did have a really strong preseason, and we played our 3rd preseason game in Berlin against the Chargers. And I was named the starter then. And then,
you were named the starter in Germany.
Yeah, in Germany. Think about that. Makes sense, right?
How many times, Brockman, have I said during this conversation, okay?
This is incredible.
Olympic Stadium in Berlin.
Okay.
But then you think about it. So I started, my first week was against the Eagles at home. We won that game. Second game we play at Arizona against Buddy Ryan's home opener in Arizona. 80,000 people, Desert Swarm they call themselves.
Of course.
We won that game. And then the next game we played the Redskins and beat them. So I'm a new quarterback. I'm 3-0 going into the bye week. I'm like, I'm the king of New York. This is the greatest job in the world.
Right.
And then coming back from bye week, then sort of reality hit. We lost 6 games in a row. So we were 3-6. I got benched. They put in Kent Graham. We didn't win that game. Then I came back and won our next 7 games in a row. So we went 3-0, 0-7,
0-7,
and then won it out. We finished the year 9-7. And we missed the playoffs by, it's a sort of famous play, I think, in Green Bay Packer history. Brett Favre scrambled with no time left and leaped into the end zone against the Falcons. It was kind of a bonehead play. If he would have been stopped, the game was over.
Right.
But Brett being Brett jumps in, they win, so they go over us. And we had to beat the Cowboys the last game of the year to actually qualify. So year ended 9-7. It was, up and down, but all in all, it was a successful campaign. So I was 9-6 as a starter my first year.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.